Under $10.
Actually, maybe. Not that. It's fine. It's like a decent. Is it better than Hamao?
Should be there.
There's a hallway right here. You guys are all standing in it. Come on in. Guys, do me a favor. I'm walking up to Linda.
Okay. Okay, everybody together?
There's about 25 different
And they've got fruits and vegetables. Look at those weird mushrooms.
Sorry.
White nectarine.
I'm gonna grab
They have a stand.
Saffron? How are your
Oh, she was able to order.
She got her stuff.
How's the ice cream?
Amazing.
ahorita ni yo lo tengo.
Maybe by the time we come back around, I'll want
This is too good.
Or just,
Just like there's something wrong with it. Seasons of Love from Rent. The Ola waffle is so good. Over there.
That's why he's attractive.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, that's right. Have a good one, everyone. Okie dokie.
So this is where you're gonna go after? This isn't Pier 66, is it?
Well,
That's the bliss, not the bliss.
So the baseball's still got those white things versus the further one?
everyone, so cover your ears if you're on the top deck or on the bow. In 3, 2, 1, you've been warned. And with that, we are officially underway. Hello, hello, hello everyone. My name is Michael. I'll be your tour guide for this 1 hour spin around Elliott Bay. We're gonna head north and make a left at Pier 90. We're gonna make another left, we're gonna make another left, we're gonna make another left, and end up right back here, kind of like NASCAR, go around in a little circle. A little bit about myself. I am not from here. I'm from San Diego originally. But my wife was born and raised here, and after 15 long years, she's finally convinced me to move here, and we only got here in March. Now, in the short amount of time that I've been in this city, I've actually fell in love, and I wish she had convinced me a long time ago to move here. And I hope to impart some of the love and some of the knowledge that I have found in this city. And by the end of our tour, I hope that you find it just as charming as I have found it charming. Now, I've noticed that there are a lot of you here and only one of me, so on the count of 3, I just kind of want you to just shout where you're from, and we'll see what I can grab on. 1, 2, 3.
So?
I heard Chicago, Houston, Texas, and Florida.
Ukraine.
Close enough. Any international visitors with us today? Ah, yes. Where are you from? India. Welcome, welcome. Anybody else? Way in the back.
Ukraine.
I'm gonna have to say that one more time.
Ukraine.
Ukraine, welcome.
Thank you.
We stand with you.
Thank you.
Kenya. Oh, not India. My apologies. Kenya. Well, so we don't get lost in translation, I'm going to explain a few boat terms. So to the front of the ship, we call it the bow. And a good way you can remember that is when you bow to somebody, you bow forward. To the rear of the ship, we call that the stern. And I like to think that if you are in the class and you've had a stern teacher, the best place to avoid those gazes is to sit in the back of the class. To the left of the ship, we call that the port. Port and left having the same number of letters and both ending in T. And to the right of the ship is called the starboard side, and I like to think that it's called the starboard side because the star of our tour is the city of Seattle, and she will be mostly on the right side of the ship. Now, the first thing you'll notice is this big gray and green building here. That is the Seattle Aquarium. Now, it hosts a rotating exhibit, and it's not just for animals to train to, they're not there for your viewing delights. The place is actually a research and rehabilitation place, and they just happen to have animals that you can go see. Some of the exhibits you might see and participate in are the touch tanks. You can go in there and touch sea stars, urchins, and the like. It's also home to one of the only otters ever to catch asthma. Her name is Mishka, and they taught her to use a cat inhaler. So whenever she's feeling a little low and out of breath, she'll go swim around, put her cute little nose up on that cat inhaler, get a fresh breath of refreshing sort of medicine. Now, right after the aquarium, you can see this little, the stairs where people are walking on and over. That is the Ocean Pavilion. There is a giant aquarium there, and if you like guitars and if you like fish, then they have a combination of the two, a giant guitar fish swimming around in that little aquarium, or that big aquarium. It's quite the sight to see, and it looks a little bit like a hammerhead shark. Now, right above the aquarium, you can see a mural of a woman. Just below that would be Pike Place Market. Has anyone been to Pike Place Market yet? A few of you. Well, I highly recommend you go check it out while you're here on vacation, or if you're just kind of in the area. It has 5 levels of labyrinthian shops and stores that you can look through. You're easily able to get lost in there. My favorite places to be in there are the oldest working comic book store there. You can also find the world famous fish throwers and the second germiest place on the planet known as the Gum Wall, located in Coast Valley. It's second only behind the Barney Stone. The only difference is you don't kiss the gum wall, and if you did, you might walk away with something unnatural. And if you've been to both places, then you might just be the world's journiest tourist. Now we're passing along Bell Harbor Marina, home to one of our homes to our Alaskan cruise lines here. You can see the Norwegian Bliss here holds about 4,000 passengers and features, you can see just the curvature up there on the stern of the ship. That's a go-kart track. And it's one of the only ships that you can get seasickness and motion sickness at the same time. Now, we call Seattle the gateway to Alaska. The cruise line is one of those reasons. The second was, back in the Yukon Gold Rush, a ship called the SS Portland dumped off 2 tons of gold here. And the newspapers got a hold of that and spread it like wildfire throughout the city. Gold found in Alaska! And everybody, including the mayor at the time, up and left the city to go find their fortunes in Alaska. Unfortunately, not a lot of those miners found their fortunes there, but the people selling those supplies to those miners did here in Seattle. We call that mining the miners. And a few of those companies got their start here, including UPS, Barco Drugs, and Nordstrom. Now coming up is my favorite building here in Seattle, this slate gray building with a mustard trim with a big red E on top. That's the Edgewater Hotel. The Edgewater Hotel was built in 1962 for the 1962 World's Fair held here in Seattle, where tens of millions of people came to visit. But the Edgewater Hotel, unfortunately, opened their doors 2 weeks late because apparently building a hotel in the water was far more difficult than they imagined. So they netted none of those tens of millions of people that showed up here. To reclaim their losses, the bean counters put their heads together and came up with a brilliant idea to allow guests to fish from their hotel room. And they did. They opened a bait and tackle shop in the lobby, handed out buckets to guests, and told them to have at it. Which sounded like a great idea, unless you're not here to fish, so let me paint a little picture for you. You're here in Seattle, you're nestled up in your bed, you're sleeping soundly, when suddenly you are awoken by a violent wet slap hitting your window. You rush to the window, you throw open the drapes, and there is a 20-pound salmon flapping its way up the wall. Because while 4 a.m. is prime sleeping time, it is also prime fishing time. So what did they do with those fishes that they caught? Well, they cleaned them right there in the hotel room. Which doesn't seem like a great idea, but they did it anyway. So they had visceral guts and everything that you can imagine coming out of a fish stuffed in the mattresses, in the sinks, in the showers. Staff were none too happy. Some of them wanted to keep the fish alive, to throw it, so they threw it in a tub of water and table salt, which all they ended up getting was a very salty dead fish. The practice lasted up until the 80s, and they said no, and housekeeping rejoiced. But what really set the Edgewater Hotel on the map was in 1964, my favorite band of all time, and I will die on this hill, the Beatles came to town on their first American World Tour. They stayed at the Edgewater Hotel because no other hotel in Seattle would touch them. Their fans were far too ravenous. But the Edgewater Hotel said, we have water on 3 sides, all we got to do is wall off the front. And they did. That didn't stop fans. There was a woman who paid staff to smuggle her into the laundry. They fished people out of the sound. There is rumor, and legend has it, some ravenous fans rappelled off the roof just to get a glimpse of the bath floor. And since then, other bands have stayed there, the likes of Black Sabbath, Led Zeppelin, and Seattle's very own Nirvana, making it now the rock and roll hotel of Seattle. Now just after Pier 70 here, we're going to get our closest and most unobstructed view of the iconic Space Needle. So get your cameras ready, this is as close as we're getting. Now I say it's the most unobstructed, but not the best. The best, in my opinion, we'll see a little bit later on the tour when we make our first left. Now in the foreground of the Space Needle, you might see a red spiky structure on a flat top hill. Does anyone want to take a guess at what that might be? Any takers? What's that? Picasso. Well, it is an abstract art, I will give you that. It's actually an eagle. It's supposed to be represent an eagle taking flight. It's made by artist Alexander Calder in the 1970s, and it sits in Olympic Structure Park, which is free to the public. It opens 30 minutes before sunrise, closes 30 minutes after sunset, and features a rotating exhibit put on by the Seattle Art Museum. Now, right next to Olympic Structure Park, you can see these little pocket beaches on the side where people are walking. It features a 1.25-mile-long biking/hiking path, and it is Myrtle Edwards Park. Has anyone here seen Parks and Recreation before? Okay, well, this park was named after Seattle's kind of Leslie Knope of our area. Her name was Myrtle Edwards, and she sat on the Seattle Council from 1955 to 1969. And at the time, she was witnessing Seattle kind of undergo a and she didn't want to see it become another concrete jungle. So she went around Seattle and championed the greenery here. And because of her today, Seattleites have a park within 10 minutes walking distance of anywhere to live. Which for me, I can attest to this, I just got here in March, there are at least 3 parks within walking distance. 10 minutes of where I live. And I don't even live downtown. Passing along the hill of green radio fence with red light radio line with the Seattle Space Needle right in front. It's the very same view that you can see from Dr. Fraser Crane's apartment building. Dr. Mary Gray's house, however, does exist up there. And a woman who lives there is a real person who values her very real privacy. So if you want to go there, keep it respectful, get certificates, don't go knocking on the door. We're all human beings, we're all supposed to each other. Now we're coming up on Pier 70. Seattle's main which is actually Seattle's #1 export by volume and money. Now, most of you might be thinking, well, Seattle is the #1 export by the apple, which is wood or salmon or kidneys or something like that. But no, it's actually grain. We don't actually grow the grain here. The grain is grown in the Midwest and railed out to us and loaded on these bulk carriers. Now you can tell with this bulk carrier from the red line is very high up, which means they haven't started really filling it up. And it takes a very long time to fill the grain onto the ships. And grain is held in those beige silos and holds about 68 million bushels. And it takes an extremely long time to load these ships, roughly 3 days a week. And that's because, well, it's a lot of grain. But the main reason is because if any of that grain gets a little bit wet, it can mold and ferment. And the last thing a farmer needs is a bunch of drunk, crazy cows running around his plant. Now you might be thinking to yourself, why bring the grain here at all? Seattle is pretty much known for being a pretty wet city, despite the weather we're having today. Well, that's because due to the curvature of the Earth, Seattle sits a whole 2 or 3 days ahead of any other port on the Pacific coast. So sorry, my hometown, San Diego. Sorry, Long Beach. Sorry, San Francisco. Seattle's got you beat in time, and as I say in the city business, time is money.
też zrobił tu fokusy, nie?
All right after the grain silos, you can see this arch-like structure looking at the trees and pulled on. It's a bridge in the shape of double helix molecule, double helix DNA molecule, sitting right next to this big gray and white building. It's in the shape of double helix molecule because the building used to be owned by a company called Amgen, which was the largest biotechnology firm in America. But in 2020, March of 2020, it was bought by Expedia.com for $229 million. They renovated the entire building, made it nice and fancy for all their would-be employees, and opened in March of 2020. And I don't know if you guys remember what happened in March of 2020. It wasn't really a good month or a year for anybody. They opened it up for a total of 1 day, and then they had to shut it down and send all their employees home. They have recently opened it back up, and they are trying their best to get their employees come back home and come back to their office to work, but it's much more comfortable home in your pajamas. Expedia.com, or as I like to call it, the Choice.com, hosts over 200 competing websites, including Booking.com, Homeloan.com, Velocity.com, and People.com. Now we're going to submit code here to the second home of our two environments here, but it's also the home of the Alaskan Fishing League. Now, you may have noticed there are no Alaskan fishing leagues right now. It's because they're all fishing up a very popular but underground fish known as wild Alaskan pollock. Has anyone here had wild Alaskan pollock before? Okay, let me see if I can do it. Anyone had a generic fish steak? How about a McDonald's fillet of fish? How about imitation crab in your sushi roll? How about cat food? And largely do islands, those are all wild Alaskan pollock. It's a mild, light flavor fish that we season to any flavor that we might desire, and we all had it at one time. Now, from the starboard side, you can see all those white masks sticking up in the air. That is Elliott Bay Marina. It is the most bougiest marina we have here. It's the largest also. It's built with a kind of country club attitude, and they feature a on-call diving. Ah yes, the mountain is out, as they say here in Seattle. Mount Rainier only shows up about 90 days out of the year. I like how it's sitting right now. It's kind of floating on the clouds, if you will. Stands just under 15,000 feet, and it is one of the most majestic sights I've seen since I've been here. And that dwarfs that of the skyline. It's also an active volcano. We'll get a much better view of it in the second portion of our tour, which will be even further off it. But if you want to get a good picture of it now, it is off the port bow of the ship right now. To get it, if you all go to the port side of the ship. Now on the starboard side is another mountain range. You can see peeking through the clouds. That's the Olympic mountain range. Not as pretty as Cascade, which Bourne's mountain range here, but I might argue far more important. You see, the Olympic mountain range protects Seattle from most of the weather. How many here have heard that Seattle is the most rainless city in America? I've seen a few. Well, it's actually a misnomer. We get wet, we get sprinkled, sure, but we do not get the deluges and the mountain rain that other cities like New York or Miami would get. The sprinkles that keep us green, but because of the Olympic mountain range, we do not get those deluges. Now, right in front of the Olympic mountain range, you can see this spit of land. That's Bainbridge Island. Now, Bainbridge Island is a bedroom community. People who live there. There are 2 shopping stores there. It's pretty nice if you want to go in there. Take the Seattle State Ferries. It's the only way to get there, in fact, the Seattle State Ferry. Is to get over there, walk around a little bit. It's a nice country, it's a nice little land. But it's also home to that bloodthirsty sport known as pickleball. Anybody here play pickleball?
Yes.
You're a very brave person. If I played, I might bust a knee, and we don't want that. Now on the port side, you'll see our lovely skyline, and in my opinion, the best view of the Space Needle. The Space Needle was built in 1962 for the same World's Fair that the Edgewater Hotel was built for. But unlike the Edgewater Hotel, the Space Needle actually made the cutoff. They finished the last elevator the day before and opened their doors the day of. Stands at about 605 feet. It's pretty tall. It's almost as tall as the sound is deep. In fact, to give you an idea of how deep the water we're floating on, you can pick up the Space Needle, drop it right where we're floating. You might see 5 feet of the flagpole sticking out. It's also the most structurally sound building in our entire skyline. It can withstand a 9.1 magnitude earthquake and winds up to 200 miles an hour. It sways a little bit in the breeze, it's meant to do that. It features a rotating observation deck which makes it spin in about 45 minutes and has a nice little cafe up there. It's a decent spot. Now if you take your eyesight from the Space Needle and drag it all the way to the right, and you see a building, a little beige building with a white pyramid top on it. That is Smith Tower. That Smith Tower is the oldest skyscraper here in the city. It was built in 1914 by the Smiths, a father-son duo, who used to be in the gun-making business, but they changed their industry to the typewriter business and made the first typewriter that features both uppercase and lowercase letters. It's still a place that you can go and visit. You get a cover charge and go to the top. There's a nice observation deck, a great speakeasy bar at the top, and a room called the Chinese Room, in which a special chair called the Wishing Chair rests. This chair was given to the Smiths by the last Dowager Empress of China, and legend has it, if you sit in this particular chair and you are single, within the year you will be married. Now, whether that's a good thing or not, I'll leave that up to you. Now, just to the right of the Smith Tower, this big monolithic dark gray tower sticking up in the sky, that is the tallest building in the sky. It's Columbia Center Tower. It stands at 997 feet, and I know what you're thinking, why not go for an even 1,000? You're so close. Well, they wanted to. They actually wanted to build it a little higher than 1,000 feet. I think the official height they wanted to go for was 1,020 feet. But the FAA stepped in and said, look, you can't build it that high right here. We have flight paths that go over here. We have SeaTac and Boeing in the area. You got to shrink the building down. Well, that seems like a pretty easy fix, except that they already had leased out the entire 76 floors of the building. So, to avoid legal entanglements with the leaseholders and fines from the FAA, the architect came up with a brilliant idea to shave 7 inches off of every floor, shrinking the entire building like an accordion, making it the world's smallest, tallest tower here in the city. Now back to the starboard side of the ship, we're coming up on West Seattle, which is Seattle's oldest neighborhood. Features one of my favorite places here in the city so far, called Alki Beach. Alki Beach is this 2-mile long strip of sandy beach, which features a slew of volleyball nets, some fire pits that you can go and have a nice little bonfire on the beach. several bars and restaurants along the coastline. And being from Southern California, it's like having a little strip of home here. It reminds me a lot of Laguna Beach and Huntington Beach smashed together. You got a nice little concrete boardwalk that's been walking along the beach. All the way down, and if you don't want to go to the East Coast, at the west end of the beach, there is a 7-foot statue of Liberty that you can get a nice little selfie with. It also has the nice green hills you can see there. It's a picturesque view if you want a nice little thing on the beach. That's Altai Beach. West Seattle is also home to my favorite park I've ever been to here, and that's called Lincoln Park. And no, you won't hear any early 90s or late 2000s rap rock, but you will find a lot of trails that you get lost in. And if you're an intrepid explorer enough, you might find a 9-foot wooden troll sitting in a nice glade under a giant oak tree. There are 6 of these trolls scattered throughout the Pacific Northwest. I found one. I'm going to find the rest of them, but getting out, there's just so much to do here. It's a little hard. I challenge you, though, in your short amount of time. I've given you the location of one in Lincoln Park, and if you make your way out to Ballard to find the Nordic Heritage Museum, you'll be able to find another one right there at the museum.
Просто щоб ти потім вибрав.
Та не треба одного, щоб ти гарно зробила.
I'm going to be jumping off the mic here for about 10 minutes or so. Let you guys enjoy a break from my droning voice and then the rocking of the waves and whatnot. I'll be walking around to take any questions that you might have, any comments, concerns, cloudbursts. Until then, my name is Michael, and I'll be with you in about 10
Звичайно,
minutes.
просто звичайно. Фотка має бути максимально насичена екшеном. Розумієте? Тому я і не фоткаю. Інколи так. Що? Не 0,5. Зроби, щоб не було. Як? Що, як роки? А так? Роки вміщалися в кадр? Ні, це ж я понял, все нормально. Дай коротке відео так зробив, що дивлюся. Ага, разом так. Що? Ой, клас. Це від такого я кайфую. Це вже отаке мені подобається. Це вже якийсь професійний щось. Не просто якась шмакодялка в них ходить. Ну, пишулька.
Щоб не було так. Way bigger than what we've been on?
Yeah.
不是卫生间、厕所都要排上队了，对吧？厕所都排上地儿了。
Money, you're missing the picture.
And there's so many.
Yeah, that's the only thing they have.
Let's wait for yeah.
Trovato tudo.
Wow, this is a lot.
Bunu almak.
Ale bardzo mam dużo śmiesznych.
Nie dajesz mnie tam. O, wchodzę tuda. Da, tuda.
You wanna go?
I just want to go. Oh, I'm so
Sorry.
sorry.
I'm so sorry.
What's more blinding? Us scaring
Hey, don't run on the couple.
야, 이게 줄이셔야 돼, 너. I don't know.
Estaba medio poblada.
It says market extra.
And they just a few years ago, retrofitted it and redid it.
She said it's right there. So we have to like go up and through.
С левым рулем. Да. Аляска. Идем в ту сторону. Гарні краєвиди будуть.
So August 10th, 1907, 1 week before our start date, 7 Farmers Road. They circle up down there where we're going to see the 3-room building in a couple stops. And they set up a little park. Now, as I mentioned earlier, these very cool places.
Yeah, but we just missed it. 이 발변화가 나. Teddy going off the hotel.
like it? You know?
Однокімнатна квартира в центрі Сіетла.
Нам зараз сюди. І туди. А ні, отам нам треба перейти, не туди.
Йдемо прямо?
Ось це ти не робиш. Скрізь ці прапори.
Дивні люди. Переходимо. От. Дивно.
Спів
Where's Ronnie? Oh, there he is.
От, ми тут останемо і зустріти захід сонця взагалі найс, ні? Зараз вона піде, а ми поки ще пройдемося. Вона зараз піде, а ми ще пройдемося. Йдемо. Зараз. Нам тут не цікаво, нам стало перед сонцем.
Hello. Good morning. How are you today? Alright. That's alright. I'm still over here. Did he answer?
elevator.
That was like a beer. Well, let's go around. Where's the boys?